Hello everyone, touch the leg. Welcome back to KC Himalaya channel. Hope you guys doing awesome. If you are new here, my name is Acharya Chodak. In this channel, we share about the Buddhism in general and Himalayan related topics. Before we jump into today's video, I would like to thank each and everyone who is supporting and subscribe this channel. Alright guys, let's jump into today's topic, the will of the life of Buddhism. And of course, most of us, we already know what is will of Buddhism. But I'm here to provide you the different perspective of the will of life. And of course, will of the life is one of the most significant and wonderful art piece we have. Because this is the only painting that it was already there when it was time of the Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. On top of that, this painting is actually made according to the instruction of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni himself. So if you go to any monastery or sometimes you browse online, you might probably see this painting popping up somewhere, somehow. Most of us, when we see this painting, we generally kind of appreciate the beauty of this art and the details inside. But the the biggest thing that we are missing is message that is carried behind this painting. So if I switch this painting into this sign, what kind of reaction you have? When you going somewhere and you see this sign, probably your brain tells you that there might have some kind of danger. You have to prepare for that. But when we see this painting, instead of that, we love the painting and we kind of appreciate it. But, we don't get any alertness or, sense of emergency. But what if I tell you, as a Buddhist practitioner, you have to take this painting serious as this sign? Because this painting is telling you or indicates, it shows emergency, emergency of impermanent. Now look at the biggest feature of this painting. The will of the life itself is carried by one humongous monster, and one part of the will of life is literally inside the monster's mouth. So that shows the impermanent, Our life is impermanent. We are just one step away from beaten by this monster. Most of us have this kind of planning. First we want to achieve some kind of business goal and profit, and then after that retire and do some dharma. But the life and karma, doesn't quietly work as that way unless you are extremely fortunate person. That is saying that, engaging in dharma activities or think toward the dharma has to start since from beginning, because there's no time that given us to, engage in dharma activities, because it's impermanent. As Acharya Nagarjuna said, that our life is just like a bubble that is flying in the sky. It could pop anytime, Even we sleep at the night time and we wake up in the morning and we're still breathing is amazing, That's how the impermanent our life is. This is more like warning, come on, you're still wandering in this cycle of death and birth, in samsara, you're still here. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are or poor you are, it doesn't matter. When it comes to the king of the dead, when he demands our life, when he sent his henchmen to drag us down, and in this any realms, realm of God, realm of human, realm of hungry ghosts, and realm of hell, or realm of the animals, and realm demigod. Yeah, so he is ready to send us in any of these realms, depending on what kind of karmic cost that you have generated in your life. You will send according to these realms. What I'm trying to suggest you here is, when we see this painting, rather than appreciating the beauty of this painting, but we have to think behind the meaning or message, fundamental message that carries with this painting, and, engage in dharma activities. And that is why I feel like this painting and this sign almost carries the same message. When we see this painting, we should react same way that when we see this sign on the road, right? We should be alert, you should be prepared. Same time, when we see the will of the life, we have to always remember the life is impermanent, you are not forever. you have to engage in dharma activities right now. Alright guys, now that we have roughly idea about the message, the important message that carries with this painting, and which is impermanent, we should always engage into dharma activities as soon as possible, because there's no guarantee for tomorrow. And that is very urgency type message that we have to take away from this image or in this painting. So if you're still watching this video, why not we dive into the painting and let's try to get a little bit better idea of the whole purpose of this picture, right? And of course, center of the wheel represent the root of the samsara, and that is why it is in the center. So what is in the center of the wheel, which is three poisonous? Because of these three poisonous, we will always wandering in this endless samsara. And so what are the three poisonous? Of course, first is the ignorance, then anger, and then attachment or desire. So these three have a different significance or represent animals. Pig as ignorance, and snake as anger, and bird as a desire. So in the painting, it shows that the snake and the bird are emerging or coming out from the mouth of the pig, which is indicate that the origin of anger and the desire is also ignorance itself. So we might be thinking, what is ignorance? In simple terms, we are unable to differentiate between the good karma or bad karma, or unable to detect the defect of the samsara or bad side of the samsara. We always happiness or sense of the desire or sense we want to achieve something in this samsara world, even though it's end up meaningless at the end. So this kind of thought is the ignorance. And eventually, because of that ignorance, losing our temper and showing angers, and we will become extremely materialistic. Because of that, we will ignore other people's feelings, and always working for yourself. We become selfish. All these are result of ignorance. After the center of the wheel, now it comes good karma and bad karma. So black part of the wheel, it represented negative actions, and the white part of the wheel is represent the white karma or good karma. This also shows first Four Noble Truth, which is cause of suffering. It is cause of suffering because if you are engaging in 10 negative deeds, it will probably cause us to born in the lower realms such as hungry ghosts, hell, and animal realms. And the other part is the good karma. Because of the good karma result, we will reborn as a god or humans or the demigod. And so that is also shows the second noble truth, which is suffering, truth of suffering. So why is the truth of suffering? It does not matter whether you are born in the upper realms such as god realms or the demigods or human, or you end up in lower realms. It all has a suffering. That's why it's the truth of suffering. Now let's take a brief look into these 6 realms. Realms are actually, what I understand is, it's not something that physically different universe for these 6 realms, but more like races, human race, animal race, god race. What happened is the human realm or human race is the most fortunate one. And of course, we have a suffering because we have a constantly changing suffering, because our human's emotion is always unstable, always ups and down. We don't have this stable emotion or stable happiness. But why is so precious? Because only the human realms can feel the happiness and sorrow, and that is why we are more likely looking for the solution for stay away from the suffering. That's why we have a strong sense of separation from the suffering. And eventually, some of human beings, such as Lord Buddha, they were able to suffer from the total suffering from this samsara world. After that, let's look at the demigod. Demigods are one of the powerful spirit, but they are evil as well, because they have only hatred and anger feeling, and they are very jealousy with God and human. Such as example, Buddha was meditating under the tree, then a lot of demons try to disturb his meditation mind, right? That is probably come from the demigod. And same time, the realm of God, they are enjoying the fruit from the tree which is grow from the demigod world. So the demigods, they never have a feeling of happiness or peace. They always engaging in a war, or always have feeling of anger and jealousy. The realm of God is extremely luxurious. They are able to enjoy, or they're able to get the pleasures all that we humans desire, and because of that, they don't have feeling of doing dharma, because they don't feel any suffering. Once the accumulation of good karma eventually ends, they will probably end up in lower realms. Let's look into the 3 lower realms. First, start from the hungry ghosts. Hungry ghosts, we will probably reborn in a realm of hungry ghosts because of our stingy or miser action we have done in human life. So let's say, as a human being, even though we have everything we need, we always desire for something more. Our heart gets never content. In another case, when you see the poor people, even you have a spare cash, you don't want to give them, you don't want to give them even a single cent because of your stinginess attitude, And when you see the Buddha or Dharma and Sangha, you don't want to offer them anything. So these are the result also cause you reborn in a realm of hungry ghosts. And what is the suffering of hungry ghosts? Of course, hungry ghosts they are always suffer from not having sufficient food, and they are always hungry. Hungry ghosts is also sometimes harmful in the human world, because we do such as a fire puja, and we burn the food in a fire puja. All this, we are hoping that these smells are able to reach for those hungry ghosts. They are wandering in the world. And after that, the lower realm, the most dangerous one, is the realm of hell. Realm of hell, so generally they have 2 big types of hell. That is, one is the burning hell, and one is freezing hell. So it says that those who grow it says that those who are born in the realm of hell, they have extremely sensitive body. So it's almost like the baby's skin. Any kind of sensation will have extremely strong reaction or strong sense of feeling. Even if you touch with a brief moment of fire, it will give you extremely unbearable, painful feeling. And same time, even you have a small feeling of cold, this will give you feeling unbearable coldness, almost you're freezing. Because of that feeling, you lose your conscious, and when you regain conscious, you will feel the pain again, and you lose the conscious. So these are the repetitive sufferings that you have to go through in the realm of hell. And after that, realm of animals, the most obvious suffering, of course, everybody probably know that. Animals, they don't have rights. Animals, they always have to fear from being eaten. And of course, as a humans, we always enjoy the product of animal. We always consume meat, and not even a small meat. As example, millions or billions of animals, fishes, they lose their life, in a matter of minutes or hours. So these are the brave suffering that exist in these 6 realms. And now let's look at the outer circle of the wheel of the life, the most outermost. These are the 12 dependents. Or because of 3 poisoners, there's a 12 cause or factors that will always bind us inside the endless loop of the samsara. And so how does it actually work? Let's look into the first. It's ignorance. Ignorance has a painting, the blind man trying to go somewhere. So it's very obvious that blind man can't see, and he can't see. That's why he can't tell the direction, or it's harder for him to reach the destination the way he wants to go. Same like ignorance feeling. Ignorance, we are always longing for happiness. We are always pursuing the happiness because we are unable to differentiate between the happiness and suffering. No matter how much we try, we will always end up hurting ourselves. We always, because of the ignorance mind, we end up doing the wrong things or bad karmas, right? That is, in a painting, it shows the potter who's making the pot, and he already have few different sides of the pot, and that is the karma, actually result of negative karma or good karma. In this world, we born all because of the karma, right? But all the karma is different. We born, or everything formed as because of the result of karma, right? And someone is rich, someone is poor, someone is good looking and bad looking, all because of the karmic cause. That example, there's a few pot, some are big, some are small. After that, all this karmic cause actually stored inside the consciousness. Consciousness is the responsible to keeping result or action of the karma. That means good karma and bad karma always reflect or kept inside the consciousness, almost like modern language as a memory card. It will keep all the data inside. So now we are entering part of the how we're born in this world, right? As a human, actually applies all the 6 realms. But let's take example as human, right? So consciousness is in a picture. It has drawn the monkey actually jumping between trees, because that means this life departing from the past life to the next life. And the consciousness is because they are responsible to finding next potential parents. They have to find their parents. When they will be able to find the parents is when the potential parents are engaging in the physical relation. Once the consciousness successfully find their parents, so they will kind of embed it into the mother's womb. Now that comes the fourth, the name and form. In 12 dependents, it says name and form, because some of the life in the six realms, they don't have necessarily form, but they all have a name. As a human, we have both name and form. It's actually 5 aggregates, right? So it's a form and feeling, then perception and the formation, and finally is the consciousness itself. In a picture, people crossing in the boat from other side of the river to another side. So that shows it actually the phase or stage of developing forms. And then finally the 6 senses, or not the 6th sense, okay? It's 6 ayantas or 6 senses. Now let's look into the, consciousness able to successfully find the mother's form. After that, the 6 aggregates, after that 5 aggregates begin to develop. And now finally the senses are coming, senses are developing. Now in the picture, it has an empty house. Some say it has a window, 6 windows or something that symbolize the 6 senses. But why is empty house? Why is this empty house? It is still developing, but it is not yet able to communicate with the consciousness. Let's say example, sense of eyes or power of the eyes is already there, but it's unable to send a signal to the brain. Now finally comes the 6th one, that is contact. So the contact is finally, the sense are fully developed, and it's able to communicate with the consciousness. So the consciousness and sense of faculty, they too finally contact. So that is the contact. So the painting of contact normally draw two lovers. It says they have a performed kiss, but they haven't yet to reach the true intimacy of relationship. So that shows the contract is, and also what I understood is it's almost like light sleep. Then when we have a light sleep, we can kind of feel if someone is calling us, but yet we don't have reaction for that because we are actually sleeping, so we don't have reaction for that. And that comes seventh, the sense or feeling. The feeling is now everything is fully developed. It's stage of the fully developed sense are able to send the signal to the brain, and brain is able to read the signals from those senses. From the sense, from the eyes or nose, ears. They can hear word, or they can see things, and they can smell, or they can taste. And that is almost stage like the giving birth. The man who is going to become addicted. So let's say one of his friend invite him for drinking. So let's say he have a light drinking, and let's say he tried alcohol for the first time, and he got this dreamy feeling, and which he found very good. So that is the feeling or sensation he got. And now that tomorrow he's craving for that. Oh yeah, I forget to talk about the painting. Painting for this feeling or sensation is the in a painting, man who has shot arrow in his eyes. So it shows level of intensive feeling. How do you feel if somebody shot arrow in your eyes? Now that finally tomorrow morning you woke up, you really like yesterday's time, and now you are looking for this kind of moment, or you're craving for that moment. Now this is the 8 of the 12 dependent, which is craving, and you're craving for the yesterday's feeling or sensation again. And in the picture it shows a woman offering drink for a man. So now he is going back to the bar and drinking again, right? Now became the grasping. Grasping is the slowly developing into the habitual. So in the painting it shows a monkey who is picking fruit. Even though monkey has already collected enough fruit, but he's still longing for more fruit. He's still hungry for more. Same like it's become habitual. You yesterday you already have drink, but you're still looking for tomorrow. And then when it comes to the 10th. Now you're fully become alcoholic, or you have become addiction. Addiction of whether you are gambling, or you are doing any kind of things that you are finally end up having addiction or the strong habit. In the picture it shows women expecting for the baby birth. And finally the 11th is the birth. Birth is of course beginning of our life, which we take birth from the mother. And then the 12th is the end of our life, that is death. In the picture, people performing funeral. So that is total circle of 12 dependents. So finally in the picture there's a Buddha who is pointing his finger to the moon, the full moon and pure white moon. That shows the third noble path, which is end of the suffering. So last noble path is actually shown in a small paragraph that's written on the painting. Some of the painting they don't write it down, but actually it has to write it because this is the full completion of the will of the life. In the paragraph, Buddha has written that you have to look for the cause of the samsara. That is 3 poisonous. So how do we avoid the 3 poisonous? We have to abstain to engage in negative deeds. We have to stop doing the 10 negative deeds. And finally we have to meditate selflessness. We have to meditate. So we have to, of course, then we have to engage in the 10 virtues. And that is 10 virtues. Get rid of the 12 dependence from the reverse circle. Alright guys, thank you very much. So this is a brief explanation of the wheel of the life. When it comes to wheel of life, some people can literally meditate just looking by the wheel of life. You will able to meditate and practice Dharma. So that is the benefit of the wheel of life and message in the wheel of life. Alright, thank you very much guys. If you manage to watch until this video, I'm very happy that you are someone, because you are someone who is taking serious or thinking serious about doing some Dharma, and that is a result of your effort and willingness to learn. One for my YouTube, and another, I really want people to take this wheel of the life picture painting as not just a beautiful art, but rather than take it as a important part of the doing Dharma, to engage into Dharma activities. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye, and see you next time.